Hey guys, this is Kieran from Eccentric Physio. Today we're looking at maybe some more end stage progressions for thoracic flexion. This is also an exercise you would use for a lot of cross patterning or just starting to get used to pushing again, so it has a lot of application and a lot of things. Just depends on what your goals are and what you want to get back in terms of activity capacity. If that sounds a bit like you, then give this exercise a watch. What I've got here is a ball that's weighted, 7 kilos. The weight isn't as important right now. The weight's there as more of a feedback so that I know that I'm pushing something. Do get something that's feels, I guess, moderately heavy for you. And then later, depending on what you're interested in, you can go a little bit heavier. What we're trying to do is get used to pushing forward. Okay, so we're going to be throwing the ball today. And one of the prerequisites for that is thoracic flexion. So this is an exercise that, to get the most out of, you would use when you have that capacity and then you're learning the skills of how to use that capacity, right? So just a demo and then we'll kind of go into what we're trying to do. So I'm going to push as I step forward, okay? Now I'm not doing with a lot of force right now, because one, I don't want to chase the ball too far, but more just to show you guys the movement. If we slow it down a bit, you can pick up on the details, right? So when I step, I'm trying to push the ball and get the ball out of my hands before this leg hits the ground, okay? Don't want to think too much about body parts here, because when we start getting faster with movements, it gets a little bit trickier to start thinking about too many variables. You can really only think about one thing at a time, okay? So we're going to throw a few things to think about at you guys, and then you might think about one of those things per rep or per set and see if you can get better at that one thing before you then try and get better at another of those one things. And then all those little skills come together in a coordinated effort, and then you can do the thing, right? The thing you want to do. So with thoracic flexion, we also have protraction, the ability to push and reach those shoulder blades around that rib cage and get out to here. The kind of thing you might do if you're doing push-ups, for example, at the very top end, or bench press or dumbbell press, or you're in rugby and you're pushing someone, or American football. So that's what we're trying to do with the ball here. So I want to step and throw at the same time, and on this next one, I'm thinking about, can I try and push the ball? How far can I push the ball away from me? I want to try and get it to that wall over there, okay? So I'm going to go and I'm going to push. Right? Now, why the thoracic flexion is important is because if I extend my spine, I'm not going to get into as much protraction, which means I won't get as much power. I'm also not going to get as much tummy flexion, and the tummy muscles are part of that movement of throwing things forward, okay? So I'm going to retract, stay extended in my spine, and you'll see what the difference is in the range, okay? Okay, that looks like a little exaggerated, but if you try and hold max extension, give it a go and you'll see what I mean. Versus that cue we were talking about of trying to, can I touch the wall, or can I even push the ball through the wall? Okay. Play around with which leg leads, whether the left or the right leg goes forward first, and you might find that one of them just feels a bit awkward. If it does, don't go faster, don't try harder, slow down, or use a lighter ball. So let's say my left leg feels trickier, I'm like, oh, that's a bit awkward, then I will slow down and spend more time on my right leg, trying to figure out, is it a stability issue on my right leg? Because the swing phase is pretty reflexive. If I get my leg in front of me and I start falling, it's gonna just stop. It's a stepping strategy, otherwise I fall over. It's probably going to be more the leg that you're balancing on, okay? So if we do an inhale, exhale, and if you find that as you go through that really slow phase of going from here, and you start to get wobbly, you know that it's an issue that you can't push off a stable leg. and that what you probably need to do is go back and figure out what that is before trying to do this, because doing this requires this. Doing this doesn't make this better, okay? So just a few things to think about, but thinking about, can I push as far as I can? Can I step forward as far as I can? And really, the only other thing would be choose a target to look at. You know, can I keep my eyes fixated on something over there as I push, okay? Try these out and see if it just helps you figure out a little bit of coordination of flexion, kyphosis, protraction, pushing power while going forward. If you like this video, then please hit like below. Otherwise, to check out more of our content in the future, you can subscribe to our channel by clicking our logo over here. And to check out our latest video, click up here.